Kamala versus Trump on the issues. Actually, even as we're talking about this huge boost for Harris compared to our last poll, Trump is doing much better now in terms of this analysis. So it does appear that a lot of what the dynamics is today is that people say, I like Kamala, but I'm not really trustful in that she will do a better job than Trump on these issues.
Right.
So when it comes to the economy, U.S. economy and job market, inflation, those things that we were seeing first on our previous graph, Trump is ahead here 14 points. 14 points on the economy, 14 points on inflation. When it comes to immigration, he's ahead 17 points.
Which
and
is
when we're
his
talking
strongest subject.
Well, I'm very much oriented by the numbers we have. And I believe in those numbers. And if I believe in those numbers and I think about how this plays out, swing state by swing state, and that is something that we'll be releasing next week, I would give Trump 70% chance of winning and Kamala 30%. That means that, Kamala still has a chance, but I wouldn't call this race that narrow at this point in time based on this built-in advantage that Trump has.
That's fair.
No.
You were a few...
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I gotta tell you guys, it seems as if the closer that we get to the election, the less likely it becomes that Kamala Harris is going to become president of the United States, okay? And as you guys saw at the beginning of this video, that was Atlas Intel, okay? Some of the pollsters that came out with the bombshell poll that the mainstream liberal media refuses to talk about, showing Trump up +3 over Kamala Harris, okay? Gaining steam after the debate. Now, this is a big deal because Atlas was the most accurate pollster of 2020 and one of the most accurate pollsters of 2022. So they have a track record for actually being able to properly poll Trump supporters, which appears to not be the case for most mainstream liberal media polls, because when you go on the ground and you actually talk to the voters about whether or not they support Trump or Kamala Harris, it seems to be extremely hard to find a Kamala Harris supporter. And it doesn't matter who you are. You could be Don Lemon or you could be CBS. But yet it seems difficult to find people who really support Kamala Harris out in the streets. Take a look.
What issue is most important to you?
I'm extremely concerned about the border.
Illegals, they gotta go.
People are coming here seeking asylum.
Baloney. They're coming here for the freebies.
When people talk about immigration, they're thinking we're saying we don't want immigrants of any kind, and that's not what people are saying. People are saying that there are people who have come here legally. Why do they get pushed aside to allow people who have not even worked one day in our country, have not paid into the system?
I took my brisket and mac and cheese with me to catch Ken Lasker with the to-go order.
How closely are you watching this election?
Oh, very closely.
He was the only Harris supporter we met at lunch, even though Washoe County has historically been pretty politically split. Rosie Martins is originally from Mexico and appreciates the Moscow Mule. Her husband, Gary, is from Portugal. The Republicans are concerned about the economy and the border.
I want it to be secure. I want it to be something that the people will not be in danger when they cross in their kids and their families, and to know who's crossing, too. If you're not following the rules, then you don't have nothing to do in this country.
We met business owners in telecom, real estate, and mortgage lending.
Everything has gone up. Everybody feels it at the grocery store, at the gas pumps. And yes, I do contribute that to Biden.
I think they just keep thinking that if they keep putting money towards something, it's going to fix the problem. It's the same as if you have an old house, let's just keep fixing it. Sometimes the solution is you got to tear it down and rebuild.
And get a mortgage from you.
Absolutely. A 203K.
Join you?
Leanne and Stephen Schaefer were first to arrive and say they can't wait to vote.
I want someone who's strong, who demands respect and who gets the respect, and who can deal with foreign leaders. I think Trump's the guy.
There's so much going on throughout the world, in this country as well. But do you remain hopeful about America?
I tell you, I've never owned a gun in my life, and I own 4 of them now.
Really?
Yes. I fear for our country.
We had
Like that.
so much fun. But what was really incredible is in every single restaurant of the people willing to talk to us, we could only find one Harris supporter in every restaurant. And we left no stone unturned. I approached every single person.
Yeah, that's not good, right? That is not good at all. But I'm telling you guys, this is what we're seeing across the country. I've told you guys 1,000 times. I don't think I've ever seen anybody wearing any Kamala Harris or Joe Biden paraphernalia in real life, right? I've just never seen it, okay? I've seen Joe Biden wear more Trump paraphernalia than his own, right? In regards to supporting himself for president, right? I saw Joe Biden wear a Trump hat. I ain't never seen Joe Biden wear a Biden hat, right? But I saw him wear a Trump hat. So I'm just saying, it's no surprise to me that this reporter goes to Nevada, goes to a county that is supposed to be like a swing county, okay? It's kind of in the middle. And then she goes out to eat to all of these restaurants, and she only can find one Kamala Harris supporter. Only one, right? And trust me, she probably was desperate to find some because that's what they wanted, okay? For the news clip, we know CBS is biased. We know all these news outlets are biased, right? So that's what they wanted. They couldn't even find what they wanted. Same thing with Don Lemon, right? Don Lemon did the same thing in New Jersey, blue state, okay? In the city, was trying to find Kamala Harris supporters, and nobody was going for it. Nobody was going for it. See, this is why I really do think that if the election was held today, Trump will win in a landslide. And I'm not saying that to be cocky. I'm not saying that to discourage people. No. I'm actually saying it for the exact opposite reason. I'm saying it to motivate people, to let people know there's hope, right? That there's light at the end of the tunnel. We just have to execute. We have to vote like we never voted before because we can win, right? We are the majority, okay? I think that Trump can win the popular vote at this point, right? To be quite honest with you, okay? I really do. So again, all that is to say that, yeah, let's get out there and do what we got to do because the mainstream liberal media, I think one of the main reasons why they're trying to put out all these polls that show Kamala Harris beating Trump, even though she's not beating Trump by the margins that she needs to beat Trump in order to actually win the Electoral College, is to create this perception that Kamala Harris is great and that people love her and that she's motivating so many people to get out and vote for her, which I just don't think is the case, right? Like, for example, this segment right here from CNN, they're going to talk about how Kamala Harris is in the danger zone, but yet they're not really going to include in their analysis all of the polls that show the opposite of what CNN wants their viewers to know about how Kamala Harris is actually doing, okay? So, without further ado, let's get into this.
All right, so, it's not that surprising, Mr. Berman, from my undisclosed location. You'll never guess where I am. So take a look here. National polls in the last month, including leads within the margin of error. Look, Kamala Harris leads in pretty much every single national poll. She's led in 9 of the polls that have been released over the last month. Trump has just led in 1 national poll over the last month, and we've had 1 tie. So the fact that a national poll shows Kamala Harris ahead, not really much of a surprise because, John, pretty much all of them do.
No, they don't. That's actually, again, not true. I think the poll that they're counting here is the New York Times Siena poll, okay? But it's not just the New York Times Siena poll, which was a bombshell poll, by the way, showing Trump up by 1, I believe, over Kamala Harris. Rasmussen came out showing Trump up over Kamala Harris in the popular vote. And then you had Atlas Intel, the most accurate pollster of 2020. They also released a poll showing Kamala Harris losing to Trump up over Kamala Harris. So to say that there's only 1 poll within the last month showing Trump leading is a lie. Like, this is just not true, okay? But again, this is the best case scenario. CNN is trying to create the best case scenario for Kamala Harris. But even despite trying to create the best case scenario, they're still saying that she's in the danger zone because ideally for her, Trump doesn't lead at all. There should be no polls showing Trump leading, right? If she was actually doing good. Okay, but because she's not doing good, again, compared to her predecessors, yeah, there are polls out there, multiple polls showing Trump leading, right? Which is unprecedented considering where we're at right now in this race.
And the thing is, Harry, thanks to the founding fathers, this isn't a national election exactly, is it? Oh, now you're suddenly behind me. You keep on moving. There's Harry, still in an undisclosed location, but at least virtually behind me, making me very nervous. All right, Harry, talk to us about what the states look like, the battleground states.
Yeah, so look, this is about the Electoral College, right? So let's take a look at the average margin. Nationally, Harris is ahead in the average poll by 2.5 points. But look in those 7 key battleground states, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Harris is only ahead by 0.3 points, John. So the bottom line is, in those 7 key battleground states, it's a significantly tighter race than it is nationally, John.
Now, again, here's the thing, right? This is not counting the fact that Trump typically overperforms on election day. Okay, so if Kamala Harris is only up 0.3 points in the 7 key battlegrounds, which is what actually really matters, that is an absolute disaster for her. An absolute disaster, because you have to assume that in Pennsylvania, Trump is going to overperform. In Wisconsin, he's going to overperform. In Michigan, he's going to overperform, right? In all of these states in which he historically has overperformed, he's probably going to overperform in this election. And if Trump overperforms just by a point or two, it's over. He's winning in a landslide, right? This is why I say that if the election was held today, I believe that Trump, from the Electoral College perspective, would win in a landslide, right? That's basically where we're at. And they know it, right? Everybody knows it. Again, this is probably why you're seeing these attempted assassinations on the president, because everybody knows that, oh, wait. Kamala's not winning by as much as she should be winning at this point to feel comfortable going into the election. And these people are so Trump deranged that they can't even stomach the thought of Trump possibly becoming president of the United States again. And that's why you're seeing a lot of the derangement get turned up to a new level. Like, for example, what's going on in Springfield. I mean, the media is obsessed. They're obsessed with that story of Trump, making the cats and dogs the pet claims. And it's like, well, what you're doing is that you're inadvertently highlighting the failures of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden by continuing to talk about that story, because that's the main takeaway that people are getting, right? Immigration is one of the top issues in the country, and Trump is beating Kamala Harris by a mile on that issue, right? And when you talk to voters, a lot of voters are concerned about that issue. So the mainstream little media, their obsession with trying to use anything to smear Trump is backfiring, right? It really is, okay? This election is going to be lost by the Democrats because of Trump derangement, right? They spammed it so much that it is now hurting them, okay? I always use the comparison. Anybody's ever played Pokemon, right? If you use one attack too much, right, and you run out of the points that you need to use the attack, you start to hurt yourself, right? That's what's happening to the Democrats right now. They've spammed Trump derangement to the point where they're hurting themselves, and they're too stupid to realize it. That's the crazy part.
Al Gore and Hillary Clinton are calling right now, Harry, asking what the chances are that Harris could win the popular vote but lose in the Electoral College.
Okay. So basically, you note that 2.5 point lead nationally here, right? Okay, Harris's chances, if she wins the popular vote by 2 to 3 points, the chance she wins the Electoral College is only 53%. The bottom line is, once you have to get all the way north to about 3 to 4 points for Harris to have a clear chance, the clear majority chance of winning the Electoral College. If she only wins by less than 2, look at that. Only a 23% chance of winning. Right now, Harris is right now in that danger zone where basically about half the time, given that popular vote margin nationally, she would win. And so here's the situation. Chance Harris wins the popular vote at this point is about 70%, but the chance she wins the Electoral College is only about 50%. So the bottom line is, at this hour, John, there's about a 20% chance that Kamala Harris wins the popular vote, but actually loses in the Electoral College. So we could be heading towards one of these splits that we saw in 2016 and in 2000, whereby one candidate, Kamala Harris, wins in the popular vote but loses in the Electoral College. Basically, at this hour, we're right in that sort of weird middle zone where we honestly don't know what's going to happen based upon the popular vote, and that is why those national polls that show Kamala Harris ahead, at this point, really don't matter that much.
Harry Yetton, thank you so much.
Facts. Which is something I've been saying for the longest time. It's just funny how this guy, he does this for a living, right? Okay, analyzes polls and stuff. Like, that's his one job, okay? That's all he does. Now, I analyze all the news, and I've been telling you guys for the longest time that this is how it works, right? That Kamala Harris actually really needs to be winning by 3, 4, 5, 6 points. She needs to be up significantly to be comfortable going into the election, because Trump doesn't need to win the popular vote, okay? The popular vote is irrelevant as long as Kamala Harris is not winning by more than 3, 4, 5, 6 points, right? Once she starts to get up into that range on average, then I'll start to worry, right? I'll say, hey guys, I'm worried, right? I'm really, really, really worried. If Kamala really starts to poll within the same range that Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton were polling going into their elections, but she's not, right? She's significantly underperforming, okay? And the woman doesn't want to do any interviews. She don't want to talk to anybody, okay? The debate didn't help her out that much, if at all. I mean, it probably hurt her. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know, but I'm just saying that at this point, you know, these polls that are coming out, I think they're cooked, right? I think the polls showing Kamala Harris up 3, 4, 5, they're cooked, 100%. 100%. They're not accurate. They really do not know how to poll Trump supporters, because I'm telling you, what you see on the ground, okay, is that people are not rocking with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden like that. They're really not. And I think a lot of people nowadays, they're not as afraid as before to come out and to support Trump, right, openly, because I've seen more open Trump support than I've seen for Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, okay? But I still think there are a large group of Trump supporters out there because of the stigma, because there still is a stigma, okay, from the left and from liberals for people supporting Trump. Yeah, I still think that it is likely that Trump is going to overperform on election day. Now, even if he overperforms less than he historically has, it's still within that range where he would win, right? He still would win, even if he doesn't overperform as much as he has before in the past. So again, this is terrible for Kamala Harris. She definitely is in a danger zone. And if she doesn't turn things around quickly, right, there's going to be a problem. Like I told you guys, the winner of the debate will be determined by if Kamala Harris actually can pull away from Trump in these next coming weeks. If she can't do that, then, hey, we know for all intents and purposes, she actually really lost. And she's going to have a real hard time gaining more momentum going into the election because it's not looking good for her right now. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.